Hello friends, once again I am here, Dr. Amit Gangwal, Associate Professor at SVK AIMS Institute of Pharmacy, Dhule. Now we will talk about clinical trials, applications of AI in clinical trials. We will talk about examples of few famous pioneer established giants who are leveraging AI directly or indirectly in clinical trials and in drug discovery. So the organizations which are creating headlines world over because of their patented technologies in AI. They are Unlearn.ai, Deep6 AI, Trials.ai, Owkin, and Unlearn. We are thankful to these organizations as we have taken basics of their innovative, unique, and pioneer technologies directly from their websites as first-hand information along with their original infographics, so that all the learners will learn directly in a first-hand manner from those who are at the helm and from those who are creating the headlines because by their uh, genuine and authentic patented technology. We express our deep sense of gratitude to them as without this information which we have taken from their website as such, this video would not have been relevant at all for the students. Once again, I am thankful to these organizations because I have taken screenshots and information in their own language, in their own statements from their CEO, from their website. Thank you very much. So Deep6 This company claims that it uses natural language processing (NLP), the technology through which we translate languages, the technology through which we convert text to speech, speech to text, and so on. NLP, an important application of AI. Already we have seen what is NLP in earlier videos. So Deep6 claims that it uses NLP for better match patients to clinical trials to find out the best patients for recruitment as the subject in clinical trial. Deep6 algorithms are trained on patient medical data and thousands of clinical data points, different type of data points generated because of patients like its prescription reports, pathology reports, and so on. So this type of data are called the patient data or clinical data or patient centric data or patient's traits or features, or these are the input for machine learning model. All these patient data or input for the machine learning algorithm or deep learning models. The company further claims that it can implement the extraction process, that is to separate unwanted data from wanted data from above structured or unstructured data points. These data, as I told you, are required to train machine learning models without touching or taking legally prohibited health data, that is patient's identity or other personal information. So see the specificity and selectivity. The machine learning algorithms are trained in such a manner that they will only extract the clinical information. They will not take the the name of patient, address, or other things which are legally prohibited in privacy laws. They cannot be shared. So these are the claims from Deep6 AI. In a case study, the company described that how it assisted Cedars Sinai Heart Institute in improving its ability to identify eligible patients for a such study. Before implementing, the research team required an average of 6 months to identify 2 eligible patients for a clinical trial, requiring a total of 8 patients. We all know clinical trial means study of drug candidates into the human subjects. So for that we need perfect human subjects. So using the Deep6 platform, Cedars Sinai Institute identified 16 patients fulfilling the eligibility criteria for the trial in an hour. Earlier, it took 6 months, and this algorithm of Deep6 organization, they did the same job in less than 1 hour. Now, what is the statement of Chief Executive Officer of Deep6 AI? I started Deep6 AI in 2016 to use the power of AI to rethink patient recruitment and trial feasibility in clinical research, said Wout Bruslerus. Since then, we have worked to connect an entire ecosystem of sponsors, CROs, clinical researchers, physicians, and patients with the largest database of unstructured data in the industry. Means in entire pharma, biopharma, and clinical industries, they have the largest database of unstructured data in order to bring novel therapies to patients faster. What is the meaning of structured and unstructured data? Already we have discussed. Structured means you have well-defined data points. For example, these are the name of patient, these are their age, these are the symptoms, and these are the gender, these are the history of their diseases, these are the treatment prescribed by the doctor, and these are the output, whether they got relief or not. Highly defined, well prepared data, they are called structured data. On the other hand, if we have unstructured data, it means there is no proper information. Handwritten notes are there, they have to be converted into a typed fashion, then you have to map some correlation between those data. So these are called the unstructured data, right? So with the recent addition of 4 additional health systems, the DeepSeek's ecosystem now contains, according to the claims given on the website, dozens of leading research organizations, including 6 NCI designated comprehensive cancer center, 30,000 healthcare physicians and other providers, 30 million patients data, thousands of active trials. Now these are the strength of DeepSeek's AI, and we all know without multi-center, without huge amount of clean data, there is no use of machine learning. DeepSeek's AI finds more better qualified patients for clinical trial in minutes rather than months, because currently if we don't use AI in clinical trial, as always it takes months and years to do clinical trials. So in case of they are finding perfectly required patients for clinical trial studies using AI on medical records. What is medical record? Doctor notes, doctor's recommendations, comments, statement, prescription, medical bills, discharge summaries, medicines taken, pathology report, medical images, and all those things, reports of biopsies and whatnot. So these are called medical records. So DeepSeek's AI accelerate patient recruitment exponentially, getting life-saving cures to people faster. So what is the benefit of faster, smarter clinical trials using AI? The drugs will reach to the patient in a faster manner. It will save the time, it will save the efforts, it will reduce the size of team involved in the drug discovery or in the clinical trials. And on the other hand, there will be huge cost saving and faster drug will be available to the patient. These are the benefits of faster and smarter clinical trials, and currently AI technology is being used for making clinical trial faster and smarter. How it works, how DeepSeek's AI uses the data of the clinical data to make it faster. So let me read it statement from their website. You can see it is a screenshot I have taken from the website. DeepSeek's AI software analyzes structured data such as ICD-10 codes, the disease codes, then unstructured data including doctor's notes, pathology reports, operating notes, and other important medical data in free text form that cannot be searched easily, right? Because we have thousands of prescriptions, but there is very few websites, there is no open source data where we can get thousands of prescription in a scan fashion. So it is called that cannot be searched easily. The software uses artificial intelligence and natural language processing to extract tens of thousands of new clinical data points. Symptoms. Data point means on which you can rely, through which you can train your machine learning model. So these are the symptoms, diagnosis, treatments, genomics, lifestyle data, smoker, non-smoker, and so on. And more, turning fragmented medical documents, that is medical images, reports of pathology, discharge summary, MRI, CT scan, mammograms, and whatnot, into unified patient graphs that contain all the information needed to match complex clinical trial criteria. Deep 6 AI software also identifies patients with condition not explicitly mentioned in medical records. As a result, Deep 6 AI software finds more patients who better match trial criteria in a fraction of the time. So you need particular data point for the patient recruitment. AI does all this job beautifully in a flawless manner in shortest span of time, provided you should give data to the AI, I mean machine learning model. And we have mentioned ontology also. What is the ontology? An ontology is a description of things, relationship, and their characteristics. For example, you have data of thousands of patients. So how would you cluster? How would you correlate? How would you find linear or collinear or direct or inverse relationship between those data points? So you will make different charts, clusters will be there by artificial neural network, that is deep learning. So deep learning will tell you that these are the data out of 10 patients who are having age group between 50 to 60. They are non-smoker, they are having type 1 diabetes, and so type of insulin has been proven successful for their treatment or for their lifestyle management. So huge amount of data is there. Human brains cannot do this all jobs. So here there is need of machine learning. So there are 3 steps. Extract the data. First is to collect the data from various hospitals, medical shops, pharmacies, discharge summaries, everything you have to collect. Now what to do? Extract the relevant information, analyze the extracted information, and connect the dots. How these data points are connected to each other. Because ultimately hidden complex connection between those data points are required to understand, and this is not done by humans. All these things of analyzing, extraction, and connecting the dots is done by deep learning algorithm. Let me explain you how they do it. Clinical trial data. Clinical data is distilled into key elements such as symptoms, diagnosis, treatment, test results, genomics, socioeconomic, I mean their age group, their gender, their patient history, genetics, smoking, non-smoking, other comorbid diseases or not, and more, while masking protected information. This is very important. You cannot use the information which is private as per different countries, right? Analyze. After accepting the information, they have to go for analyzing the information. What do they analyze? Thousands of clinical data points extracted from the medical records are aggregated into a multi-dimensional clinical profile. For example, these are the data points of diabetes patient. They are diabetes patient, group of diabetes patient, one cluster, and here it is type 1 and type 2, right? This is the age group, below 50, above 50, like that, smoker, non-smoker. So all these things will go into detail, and then you will get ready to use actionable insights through AI. Now how to connect the dots? Researchers analyze and doctors can use these multi-dimensional profiles to find and compare patient cohorts and population at machine speed. How deep 6 AI help? It accelerates patient recruitment, just we have seen, getting life-saving cures to people faster, complete trials faster so you can take on more trials, increasing revenue, refer patients to trials when this standard of care falls short, identify patients who match complex trial criteria in minutes. This is very important. You have thousands of patients, but you need only those patients which will best respond to the treatments under investigation. Attract and retain better doctors. So there is 2 issues. Not only you have to attract required patient and hold them until trials are over, but you have to also attract or hire only those doctors who are having proven track record for successful clinical trial researcher, and you have to hold them, retain them until trials are over. Improve patients' outcome and satisfaction score. Bolster your reputation as a patient-centric leader in cutting-edge care, that is clinical trial. Lower labor costs related to patient medical records, etc. Give patient access to cutting-edge drugs and therapies in a faster manner. It is important. So Based on the current client results of the Deep6 AI, what they have to tell: find 113% more patients, speed up patient recruitment by 4.8 to 6 months, save around 10,398 dollar in labor cost per trial. It is a huge amount. Save more than 208 hours of staff time per trial, find better matching patients. So it is important. Deep6 AI uses AI on structured and unstructured clinical data to find more better matching patients for clinical trial in mere minutes. Their software is self-service. There is no need of IT queries or IT experts. Deep6 AI software also highlights evidence of eligibility, so you can quickly confirm or reject patients in minutes, so you can begin recruiting right away. You don't need to be in the EMR, that is electronic medical record, at all, and your data says stay safer and secure within your own network. That is important. Another company is Trial.ai. It was founded in 2015 and it is based in San Diego, California. This company claims it leverages NLP to help researchers more efficiently to manage clinical trial studies. The algorithm which is being used by Trials.ai is cloud-based study optimizer platform, which are trained on huge data sets from past clinical trial. Machine learning means huge amount of data to train the machine learning model. So in case of clinical trial, obviously we need data from same domain. It means from the data of previous or past clinical trial, medical journals, and real world sources to classify risk factors and provide recommendations for clinical trial optimization. So as per the information given on their website, what they do in clinical trial: our smart protocol solution is revolutionizing the manual way research teams design clinical trials. In the digital age, humans cannot physically read and digest every bit of information. It is important. Huge amount of data is there, but humans cannot digest and analyze each and every data point information for given decision. In addition, almost every company has valuable data that is not being used. More often than not, documents are living in repositories with no line of sight. Huge amount of documents are there, data are there, but you have to study. There is no time and there is no such intelligence which can match machine intelligence. As a result, companies, life sciences companies are making important and costly decisions with incomplete information. We aim to take companies like yours, according to information given on this website, what Trial.ai is saying. Company aims to take companies like yours, other biopharma company, from a document-driven environment to data-driven one. We are reimagining how clinical trials are researched and planned by removing the barriers between data and end user. We do this by mining massive amount of trial-related documents from both customers and public domain. So you don't have to. Those data then become the foundation for machine learning insights and recommendation. It is same huge amount of data is required, and they are giving you ready to use platform to start your clinical trial from recruitment of patient first step. How do they this? The Trials.ai platform uses state-of-the-art artificial intelligence by way of NLP and machine learning to optimize clinical trial protocols for speed and efficiency. What is the first step? Huge amount of data is obtained from document. You see, this is a book or handwritten or printed documents. From those documents, through machine learning technology, you have to remove or extract or filter actionable insight in the form of data. That is data mining. Our algorithms mine massive amount of trial related documents. Then clinical trial ontology. Targeted training and tuning with our ontology allows for greater precision. What is ontology? Different relationship between different data points in a correlate in a mapping manner. So what is the benefit? It saves time, it saves the amount, it decreases the risk, and it is entirely focusing on the patient. In a faster manner, drugs are reaching to the customer, or I mean patient. That is the main motto of AI driven clinical trials. So for example, the process begins with a user uploading his or her research protocol documents in MS Word or PDF to the platform. Risk factors are identified by analyzing the protocol text, and any potential barriers to a successful trial, such as recruitment and retention, are reported on a dashboard. In this way, they use the AI in clinical trials. Now, there is a big issue in biopharma companies or in pharmaceutical companies. Each of these company has their own data. Huge amount of data are in silo. Each company has its own data, own research data, and definitely they are their trade secret or IPR data. So no company wants to share data with each other. Here comes the concept of federated learning. It means, for example, there are 5 companies or 5 different data centers or 5 different organizations. For example, one is University A, one is company B, one is a company, pharma company by the name C or DE. So total five organizations are there. Each of them have their own data at their own local center. So without actually giving access to all the data or entire data, or without giving access to the main data or hidden potential or hidden information in the data, you can use each other's data in a common platform just to train your machine learning model. It is called federated learning. Let me explain you. It is somewhat newer concept, also known as collaborative learning. It is a machine learning technique that trains an algorithm across manifold decentralized edge devices or servers. Various company servers are there having own data, having local data samples without exchanging them. For example, company A data, company B, C, D, and E. None of these companies will share each other's data, but they can use all this data to train a common machine learning system. This is called federated learning, right? This approach stands in contrast to traditional centralized machine learning techniques, where all the local datasets are uploaded to one server, as well as to more classical decentralized approaches which often assume that local data samples are identically distributed. So here risk is involved in earlier case. Now there is no risk, and you can use data of multiple organizations without any competitive loss. So this is Ocwin organization, very innovative company, again engaged in AI technology for drug discovery and clinical trials. So let me tell you, Ocwin is famous for the concept of federated learning. Ocwin Connect is used in collaborative and competitive setting when protecting confidential, proprietary, or sensitive data, and the insights extracted from the data through the models are essential. What is this? Very, very important in AI driven drug discovery or deep learning driven clinical trials. What they mention? Suppose there are 1 company, 2 company, 3 company, and 4 company, and you have to train a machine learning model for particular algorithm. The algorithm is being trained to fetch or to recruit perfect patients for clinical trial. So you have to study, you have to use earlier clinical trial data of, for example, 4 organizations, right? So without compromising the proprietary value of the database of each other, without compromising with the confidentiality of the data of each other, or without taking the insight from the data of individual organization, but that insight will be learned by the machine learning model, and the trained machine learning model then can be used by either of these 4 companies or any of these 4 companies. Understand? I repeat the concept of this is the future of machine learning. there are 4 organizations, there are 4 pharma companies. Each one of them have their own data set, and they want to make a perfect machine learning model for given task. So they can permit to use each other's data in a decentralized manner without compromising or playing with the importance of confidentiality, proprietary value, or other hidden insight into the data. So this is the infographic indicating the same. I have taken from Ocwin organization's website. I am thankful to this company once again. So what the company is saying, we unlock insights from multi-model data sets created and curated by world-class medical academic centers. In collaboration with researchers, we train AI models for optimizing clinical trial, identifying patient subgroups, and biomarker discovery. Already we have seen the definition and the meaning and the importance of biomarker and digital biomarker, that is DBM. Because the promise of AI for drug development begins with the highest quality data. Now, patient stratification or patient separation is part of subject recruitment in clinical trial studies. Clinical trial design and optimization frequently come down to improved patient stratification. That is, we need only those patients which fit the bill or the criteria for clinical trial studies. And this is done to make sure the trial is focusing on the right individuals and that their drug responses are sufficiently tracked to be able to efficiently draw conclusions from the trial. Organizations like NQ Medical and Winterlight Labs are using speech biomarkers. Already we have seen the meaning and example of digital biomarkers in earlier video. These companies are using speech biomarkers and patient interactions with electronic devices and touch screens to quantitatively detect and track the progress of neurological disorders during clinical trials. For example, we have seen uh, the case of Alzheimer's disease. This approach lets researchers to have more automatic classification of patients' pool with the disease by defining individual components and characteristics, that is traits of the patients attached with the disease severity. Another company is Unlearn. This company is using again AI in a novel manner for addressing the issues of drug discovery by making faster clinical trial output through a very novel concept, that is digital twins. So when you write in Google digital twins, you will get good number of papers, PDF and images of only one company, and that is this research based very handsome organization, that is Unlearn. So what they are doing, according to them, as per the information which I have taken as such in the screenshot fashion from their website, let me read for you. The problem is enrollment challenges, timeline delays, and high failure rates burden clinical trials. Burden means it takes time for a medicine to come in the market after regulatory approvals if clinical trials are failed or delayed, and directly proportional to it is higher cost. So what is to be done? Unlearn is the only company to create digital twins to populate intelligent control arms in clinical studies. So I will explain you the meaning of control arm and what is the meaning of digital twins. Just now we have seen the meaning of federated learning. Federated learning. Now we have seen the problem, what can be done to solve the problem, and why this concept of unlearn is unique. According to them, while others leverage existing data, unlearn generates a new type of data for any type of patient. See, we all know machine learning, deep learning, AI, natural language processing, NLP, all these require huge amount of data, and they use existing or already available data, for example, data of failed clinical trial or data of successful drug discovery marathon. But according to Unlearn, they are very unique and very important, very innovative, because they use the data generated by them only. Unlearn generates a new type of data for any type of patient. How? You will study step by step how they do. Increasing trial power and confidence. First step, digital twins can increase study power or study importance by decreasing variability and even power secondary endpoints and exploratory analysis. I will explain what is the meaning of digital twins. Accelerating trial timelines. Adding digital twins to a clinical trial means fewer patients who receive the placebo and lower failure rates. Enabling patient-level insights. Digital twins provide additional evidence to understand the treatment effect, how each patient responded to an experimental therapy in a trial. First, according to company, first they prepare a highly curated data set. Already we have seen in the basics of machine learning, deep learning, AI, what is the meaning of curated data. Curated data means highly filtered and unique data without any duplicacy, without any outlier, without any ambiguity. Data is pure and can be used to train the machine learning model. So our machine learning model can learn from the relationship. Control arm records from several trials. Control arm records from several trials focused on a specific disease are curated to become machine learning ready. Now, we all know clinical trial means after successful preclinical or animal study, the use of or the testing or the investigation of investigational drug into human subject is called clinical trial. So basically there are two cases, two types. One, I mean there are two arms. One is treatment arm, one is control arm. In control arm, patients are given only the placebo, that is medicine. I mean they just give the sugar pills or some other tablets, water, if or something like that, which is not a medicament, just everything is same. They just make a tablet looking or appearing same like the medicament but without any medicament. It is called placebo or the control arm. Patients are there but they don't receive the treatment. Other all things are same like patient group, that is called treatment arm. In treatment arm you have patients obviously different from those who were in the control arm. In treatment arm you have the patient who actually received the investigational drug, right? So control arm records from several earlier trials focused on a specific disease are curated to become machine learning ready. What does that mean? Suppose you are making a drug, you are doing clinical trial for anti-cancer medicament. So you have control arm and you have treatment arm. Obviously you will give treatment arm the actual drug like molecule which you are investigating, and this is different type of patient, group of patient. Obviously in control arm you have different type of patient. So in machine learning what they are telling, don't take a separate group for control arm. They are using machine learning model. This machine learning model is being trained by using control arm data of similar disease in past. Means they are using clinical trial data of, they are using control arm data of some other clinical trial study for similar type of disorder. Obviously patients will be different and location might be different and investigational drug will also be different, but yes, the patients will be on placebo in some other protocol, but the protocol will be for clinical trial only, right? Now very beautifully Unlearn experts have made these infographics which I have taken from their website. I am thankful to the designer, the the team who has made these original infographics. I am using it for making it very clear to the learners. So first of all, they identify historical clinical trial data. So for example, from hundreds of clinical trial study, they got this amount of data. So from these data, they will only get data of control arm, means the result of the study, result of I mean the values or the result of control arm data only. They have not taken the data of treatment arm. Now they will, from this they will make highly curated data, means they will segment, they will make segment, they will make cluster, or they will classify different data points. For example, this is the data of so and so, means they will organize data. This was the crude or rough data. They have extracted the information and they finally organize it to train the machine learning model. This is required for training the machine learning model. This is called curation. Identify historical clinical trial and take only data of control arm. First, we collect historical clinical trial for a specific disease of interest. For example, if you are going for cancer clinical trial, obviously you will take data of earlier clinical trial studies of cancer control arm. Second step is extract from control arm. We pull the control arm data from the historical trial taken from this. Finally, we standardize the data set based on specific criteria. It is now machine learning ready. That is, in using this data, they will make X and they will make Y. So what is X? Independent variable. Y is dependent variable, dependent on X. It is input or feature or the patient state, something like this. And this will give the Y. So machine learning model will make a mapping between X and Y. How it is done? Already we have studied earlier in earlier videos of tutorial and earlier theoretical data. Now, once the data set is prepared, we separate it into two groups, one for training and the other for testing. The machine, we all know machine learning means first you have to train the machine learning model, then you have to test it, evaluate it, or you have to validate the same. Validation is done before deploying for the problem. The machine learning model builds an internal network of connection, that is mapping between X and Y. Why particular patient or group of patient, or why particular country, why particular CRO, why particular site of clinical trial is giving so and so result. That is called the mapping between X and Y. We then evaluate the model to ensure it is ready to begin generating digital twins. According to the CEO of Unlearn.ai, that is Charles Fisher, it is the control arm that pharmaceutical companies are first trying to transform using digital twins. No doubt in coming 10 to 20 years, there will be less amount of patients who will be utilized, who will be part of treatment arm. But right now, companies are not finding any replacement for patients for treatment arm. But yes, most of the AI driven companies who are engaged in clinical trial, they are making all the efforts to simulate or to do something to stop recruiting patient for control arm. So what Fisher is saying, it is the control arm that pharmaceutical companies are first trying to transform using digital twins. Means they are not using the patients for control arm, but they have to use the patients for actual treatment investigation. According to Fisher, we can collect longitudinal patient data from the tens of thousands of people to see how they respond to treatment. This turns the challenge into a more normal machine learning problem where you do historical data to learn from. Fisher explained. We are trying to predict what will happen to a new patient receiving an existing treatment. It is important. We are trying to predict what will happen to a new patient receiving an existing treatment. They are having group of patient, but they are not giving old medicine, but they are making some machine learning model how a patient will respond if we give a new patient receiving an existing treatment. We are trying to predict what will happen to a new patient receiving an existing treatment. The potential is high for therapeutic areas where we have high quality, high dimensionality clinical trial and real world data. For example, Unlearn is working on neurological disorder such as Alzheimer's disease and multiple sclerosis. So this is highly curated data set. Already we have seen it will be divided into training data set and testing data set. Now they will train machine learning model. They will choose the model, classification, regression, or neural network, so on. Then machine learning model training, machine learning model train, and it will be evaluated using test data. And finally, model is ready. This can be deployed for problems of current clinical trial as per the protocol. So once the model is trained, we use the testing dataset to evaluate the quality of our model. After passing inspection, the model is ready. Right? Now, what is the meaning of digital twin? Digital twin is like a simulated control group for a particular patient. Same patient is there. One patient is being given treatment. He or she is in the treatment arm. But what will happen if the same patient were in control arm? That is problem which is being addressed by the concept of digital twins. Actually, the patient is not in the control arm, but what would have happened if he or she is in the control arm? That is the use of digital twins. Digital twins is like a simulated control group for a particular patient. What is digital twin? A comprehensive longitudinal and computationally generated clinical record. That describe what would have happened if a specific patient had received a placebo. This is patient A and he is in the treatment arm. But if he or she would have been given the control arm, that is placebo, how he or she would have responded? That is the concept of digital twins. While now a digital twin, here it is also known as virtual patient in case of clinical trial. A digital twin is a virtual representation that serves as the real-time digital counterpart of a physical object or process. Now, already we have seen the meaning of control arm, that is the patients who are receiving placebo only. Meaning of external control arm means to reuse data from patient in past trial. You are doing trial number X, it has control arm and it has experimental arm. Control arm receives placebo, no medicament. Experimental arm receive actual investigation drug. But if you don't recruit patient for control arm in X clinical trial, and rather you will take the data of control arm patient from X-1 clinical trial data, that is called external control arms, right? While a patient's journey in a clinical trial takes months or even years, a digital twins record is created after the first visit. Our model uses baseline data to create a complete record that predicts how the patient would have responded if she had not received the experimental treatment. So this is the same, they're explaining in infographics manner. Their proprietary in-house patented developed AI empowered platform is ProCova. Digital twins enhance data about patients already enrolled in the trial, and more data means more certainty and in turn power. ProCova, that is prognostic covariate adjustment, is like an adapter, a statistical method that incorporates digital twins into statistical analysis, plans to provide a more precise estimate of the treatment effect. So again, this is randomized clinical trial, active arm and control arm, then patient plus digital twin pairing. Actual patient who have been enrolled for treatment arm and actual patient who has not been giving placebo, but through its digital twin concept, how it would have, she would have responded if she has been given the placebo or if she have been kept in the control arm. And in this way they compare the data of actual patient and the patient's digital avatar, that is called digital twins. So what they say, according to this Procova technology, prospectively incorporating digital twins into clinical trials enables smaller, more efficient trials. In addition to reducing sample size, digital twins can be added to trials at any time to increase power. Each patient in the trial is paired with their AI generated predicted placebo outcome, that is digital twin. Digital twins maintain randomization and blinding and increase the certainty without introducing bias. Means it will have same impact like actual group of patients in the control arm. The same they have explained again, and this is the summary of digital twins. Let me read it for you. Using digital twins into clinical trials can increase statistical power, hasten trial timelines, and lead patient level insights, uplifting clinical decision making and guiding future trial protocols as well. Incorporating external control arms through digital twins can rationalize clinical trials, increase power, and cut down enrollment number. The FDA has also expressed support for innovation in clinical trial designs and other forms of evidence. So before I conclude, let me tell you three things only. Number one is federated learning. Second is digital twins. And third is this last statement. FDA is also supporting biopharma AI technology companies to use AI for bringing innovation in the clinical trial output in a faster and fair manner. Thank you very much for watching this video.